Welcome to the Surviving to Thriving podcast that helps women leaders in nonprofits get out of survival mode and thrive in both leadership and life. I'm your host, leadership development coach Kathy Archer, and I help women leaders enjoy impactful leadership. Let me take a wild guess how you feel on most days. On most days, you're probably overwhelmed, overloaded, overburdened. Most days, you probably don't feel a lot of being overjoyed and excited and energetic. Instead, you are frustrated, you're bitter, resentful, you are probably struggling with focus. On top of that, your body's tense and tight. You might have trouble sleeping. I have lots of clients who tell me they are thinking about things at 4 o'clock that probably aren't things they want to be thinking about at 4, 3, or 12 o'clock. You might have some digestive issues, perhaps some back problems. Maybe you've been told you have high blood pressure or diabetes. And my guess is some of your relationships aren't quite the way you want them to be. You're maybe short with some people, task-focused with others. And oftentimes when you are overwhelmed and overloaded, you know that it's just much easier to do it yourself than to delegate it or teach it or, God forbid, ask somebody to do it for you. Because you know what? I've been there. And I know that feeling of being so incredibly stressed. And you are just overwhelmed and overloaded. And if you've been listening to the podcast, you know that you are probably stuck in survival mode. And if you want to have a little quick assessment about are you stuck in survival mode, go back to episode number 18 and 19, and we really went deep into the surviving to thriving continuum. Now, today we're talking about the 3 most overlooked leadership competencies, and I'm going to get to those in a minute, but I want you to just stop and think about how you feel on the average day. On the average day, are you overwhelmed? Is your body tense and tight? Are you struggling a little bit to have the quality of relationships both at work and in your life that you want? Are you stressed? Well, here's the thing. Back in episode number 5, I said there are 3 critical appointments that you must schedule into your calendar to be an effective leader. And they were, just in case you can't remember what they were, self-care, self-reflection, and self-growth. Now, let's talk about number 1 for a moment. Do you have it scheduled into your calendar? My guess is maybe not. And if you do, it's probably things like quick hits. You have a massage booked, or maybe you'll take a day off where you call it sort of that mental health leave, but you still check your emails all day, or you tend to get caught up on stuff that you haven't been dealing with. Or your strategy for dealing with that stress is to pop an Advil or another Tylenol. Or you'll just tonight, I'm just going to have a glass of wine and I'm going to watch some Netflix. Here's the problem though. If you are managing your stress load, and trust me, we're going to get to those 3 leadership competencies in a minute. This totally relates. Hang with me. If you're managing your day-to-day stress and trying to get out of survival mode so that you can be that most effective leader who does meaningful work, you're engaged, growing your employees, and you're managing that stress with quick hits, it's kind of like saying, I'm going to go to the gym once a month and I'm going to lose weight. Or if I just eat a salad occasionally, that will help me be healthier. We know that that doesn't work. What we need to do is create habits around wellness at work, not after work. You can do wellness habits after work, and you absolutely should. And I'm also really encouraging you to create wellness habits during your workday. Now, this totally relates to those 3 competencies I'm going to tell you about in a second. But I want you to just think about this. What wellness habits do you have during your workday? Any? Now I want to talk about those 3 most overlooked leadership competencies. And I want you to think about the connection between these overlooked leadership competencies and the amount or the quality of your wellness habits that you have, stress management habits you have during your workday. Got it? 3 most overlooked leadership competencies. And how are these connected connected to your wellness habits during your workday? Okay, let's dive in. The 3 most overlooked leadership competencies of effective, engaged leaders that people look up to, admire, respect, get the most work done, have the biggest impact. The 3 most overlooked leadership competencies are, dun, 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 drum roll please, the ability to be energized, the ability to be focused, and the ability to stay composed. Let me say those one more time. The 3 most overlooked leadership competencies are the ability to stay energized, focused, and composed. Now let's talk about those for a minute. All research, all studies, all surveys will tell you your team wants you to be engaging, enthusiastic, and motivating. And there is no way you are going to be engaging with your staff, be enthusiastic, and be motivating if you have no energy. And here's the other thing about energy. You, my dear, have an incredible workload. You have a heavy schedule. You have long days. You have demanding things that need to be done. People expecting stuff from you. There is a lot on your shoulders. And you need the stamina to manage all that. There are days that are way longer than 8-hour days. There are travel days. There are back-to-back meeting days. And if you don't have the energy, you can't stay energized throughout your day, you're going to struggle to be engaging in that meeting. You're going to struggle to listen carefully. You are going to struggle to keep that level of energy up that you had at 9 a.m. at that 3 p.m. meeting. You need the stamina to be an effective leader. You need to be engaged, energetic, enthusiastic. And that competency, and yes, it's a competency, it's a skill you can learn. It is something you can develop in yourself to be energized. That, my dear, is one of the top things that we are missing. If you have done some of the work in the training library, then you've worked through the mini course on understanding your signature strengths. So the signature strengths, virtues in action, character strengths, when you do the little quick free mini assessment, it gives you all 24 character traits that we all have, and it outlines them where you land from sort of top character strength to bottom. My top character strength is appreciation of beauty and excellence. I was talking to a client yesterday, and one of her top character strengths is curiosity. Another one I was talking to, her top strength was forgiveness. Now, one of those character strengths that we all have, but it kind of, some of us lands at the top, some of us it lands at the bottom, is zest. And zest is that appreciation, enthusiasm for life. And when you look at the people who are most successful in the world, students in school who are happiest, who achieve the most, who feel most fulfilled, there are 7 character traits that they all excel at. And one of those is zest. And so if you want to be an effective leader, have engaging conversations, motivate your staff, have the stamina to get through it all, you have to be energized. Now, I'll come back to that other question I asked a few minutes ago. How do your wellness habits at work connect to your ability to stay energized? In next week's episode, we're going to talk about how to develop wellness habits. But I just want you to start thinking about why it's so darn important as an effective leader to build those wellness habits in. So the first most overlooked leadership competency is the ability to stay energized. The second one is the ability to stay focused. So here's a question for you. Do you ever procrastinate? You know, you have that email to send and you put it off and you put it off, or you have that report to write, or you know you should prepare for that meeting and you put it off. Or have you ever felt paralyzed? Like the to-do list is so long, there are so many things to do and you just don't even know where to start. And you just kind of sit there and maybe you check social media or you clean your desk off or you go grab a coffee, but you just don't even know where to start. Or maybe you find that you're all over the place. You respond to a few emails, open that report, go down the hall and talk to somebody, come back and respond to another email, and you're all over the place. And then the other thing that is incredibly disheartening for many leaders and just a struggle that we're going to have to face no matter what is the constant interruptions. We have scheduled meetings and calls, but there are tons of unscheduled things. Somebody's always popping their head in your door or texting you or asking for a quick phone call or something. Those are all connected to that ability to stay focused. You don't have a lot of time to do that focused work. You are busy, you have a lot on your plate, and you are responsible for a lot of people. You have to be able to, during that little bit of time that you have, stay focused. So if you've got a half hour between calls, what are you doing with that half hour? Now, I'll come back to your ability to stay focused. How is that connected to wellness? So in the training library, I did a whole course on willpower essentials. And willpower is that ability to stay focused. It's that ability to avoid distractions. And here's the thing about willpower. Your willpower depletes with every decision you make. So you get up in the morning and you decide what you're having for lunch, what you're going to wear today, which road you're going to take to work. Are you staying at home and working today or going into the office today? Every decision you make depletes your willpower. And it's no wonder by the end of the day, you have what's called decision fatigue, where you couldn't care less what you have for supper, what you feed the kids. You just got to get some food on the table. That's decision fatigue because your willpower has been depleted. Now, you can fill back up your willpower bucket by doing some wellness strategies, eating some protein, going for a quick walk, taking a deep breath. All of those things help you get back some of your willpower and refocus. So in the training library, for those of you who are in the training library, if you haven't done that course on willpower essentials, go back and find it and go through it, because it's incredibly important for you if you want to be able to stay focused. Remember, these are the 3 most overlooked leadership competencies. That ability to stay focused, you need to have strong willpower. And that is totally connected to your wellness strategies. Did you sleep well? Have you taken a break from the computer? Have you, ate something, gone to the bathroom, drank water? Are you breathing effectively? I have a whole nother course in the training library on effective breath, because these are important things to stay focused. All right. 3 most overlooked leadership competencies. First one is the ability to stay energized. Second one's the ability to focus. And then the third one is the ability to stay composed. This is all about emotional intelligence. I was reading an article, I think it was on Charity Village yesterday, about since COVID hit and the stress the stress level that we're all under. This is one of the competencies that we've realized many of us are lacking, is emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence is the ability to recognize and then manage your emotions. That's that composure piece. It's managing your tongue. Like, when somebody says something and you want to send a biting remark back, or you snip at them, or, you've been triggered in a meeting and you just shut down. That's that inability to stay composed. And so what you want is the ability to manage your emotions, the ability to manage your moods, to stay calm when you're triggered. Stay calm when, I love that saying about poke the bear. People are poking you all the time, let me tell you. And if you can stay composed and not turn around and roar at them, then that is a character trait that you, or not a character trait, a leadership competency that you are learning to excel at. And that's incredibly important. Composure is your ability to keep it all together, to notice the level of stress that you're under, the tension in the room, and still maintain your own composure and maintain the energy of the team. This is all connected to that motivation and inspiring. The composure is your ability to stay focused as well. When things are going on and you're feeling the tension rise, it's really easy to get sidetracked on conversations or to go down a rabbit hole. And your ability to bring that team back or bring yourself back to what's really important here. This is all connected, ladies. It's something that, again, your composure, if you haven't slept well, if you haven't ate well, if you haven't moved your body, if you haven't taken your eyes away from the computer, if you haven't had a drink of water, if you haven't gone to the bathroom, all of these things are impacting your ability to stay composed. You cannot keep it together when you're not taking care of yourself. And this goes back to that survival mode. When you're on an empty tank, when you are ready to snap, you will snap. At some point, you will snap. And trust me, it's not going to be a good time when you do it. And so, again, I ask you, How are your wellness strategies at work during your workday? It's great if you come in the morning, you're all refreshed and recharged and ready to go, which you're probably not. Let's be honest. You're already coming in with a tank that's not at full. And so if you're at 70 or 60 or 40, and then all day long, you're being hit with questions and emails and demands and drains on your energy, what do you have left by 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 5 o'clock? What's left in your reserves if you are not filling your tank back up throughout your day? So this is why these are the 3 most overlooked leadership competencies, because they're often seen as those soft skills, those things that we don't get trained on, the things that we don't deem as important or that you take care of yourselves. But let me tell you, ladies, these 3 competencies are connected to everything else you do. And if you don't get control of that energy, that focus, and your composure throughout your workday, you're going to struggle and you're going to stay stuck in survival mode. So I want you to go back and think about what wellness strategies do you have during your day to fill your tank back up so that you can have that energy to do what you need to do during your day, the ability to stay focused, and the ability to maintain composure. You can't do this without wellness habits. So next week, we are going to talk about 3 wellness habits to help you instill those wellness strategies during your workday. So make sure you come on back for that one, because here's the thing. It's when you take care of yourself, put your own oxygen mask on first, that you are going to be that incredible leader you want to be, that you'll have that difference you want, that you're going to be growing incredible people on your team, and get you out of survival mode and move to thriving in both your leadership and life. Go make the rest of your day awesome, my dear. If you found today's episode helpful, then you are going to love the training library. Many women leaders in nonprofits wish that they had a coach or a mentor to help them, but they don't believe that they or their organization can afford it. Oh, but you can. Inside of the Training Library membership site, you will not only get access to affordable and easily accessible ongoing personal and professional development training, you will also have access to a leadership coach at your fingertips. That way, when you hit those inevitable challenges that leadership will bring your way, you'll have both the resources and the support to navigate your way through them with confidence, composure, and while keeping your integrity intact. To find out more, head to kathyarcher.com/library. If you are enjoying the show, I'd love it if you could leave me a comment or a review on iTunes or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Thanks for listening. Go make the rest of your day awesome.